Well, hey y'all, welcome back to Life with Nana. I'm Nana and I'm so glad you're here today. Today we're going to be making breakfast bars, no bake breakfast bars that you can put together in just a short period of time. And we're going to we have three recipes and we're going to make each recipe. We're going to chill them. We'll come back and we'll cut them into bar shapes and we'll put them into individual packages, then put them in another package and label them and put them in the freezer. When you want one or two, you just lay them out in the refrigerator and you'll have them ready to go. So, the first one calls for a cup of nuts, and I think that would be your choice. Now, I happen to have pecans, so that's what we're going to use. Trying to keep with our theme of trying to use up things we have here, and I thought, man, I did have to go buy a couple of things, but I forgot the nuts, and I thought I may not have any nuts at home. So, but I looked and there they were, so that was good. Now, this says, in your food processor, pulse the nuts until they're ground finely. But be careful and don't overdo it and turn them into like a nut butter. So, we're going to start off just cutting these up. And that looks good. And then it says add the oats. And I have 1 cup of old-fashioned rolled oats. Now this is the longer cooked version. It's not like instant oatmeal or something like that. And we have 2 tablespoons of chia seeds. So that's going in. We have a half a teaspoon of cinnamon. A towel. And nutmeg. And I like to keep just whole nutmeg. And it doesn't say how much, so we're just going to go with what we think a little bit of nutmeg is. And it depends on if you like nutmeg or not. Nutmeg is pretty strong. It does smell good though. Okay. We're going to let that be enough. If you want more, put more. Okay, and then it says to pulse this 5 times. Alright, and that's just to get it all kind of incorporated. The next thing we're going to add is our peanut butter, and I have a half a cup of peanut butter. Make sure we get all that peanut butter because I love peanut butter. I go through more towels. Do y'all? I will have to wash an entire load of towels. Alright, and then the next thing is 1/4 of a cup of honey. We need a little vanilla. There we go. And it says a teaspoon, but I say measure with your heart. I like vanilla, so and we want to add our, I think we want to pulse this together. Okay, and then we're going to add our raisins. Okay. Now, I have an 8x8 pan that I have lined with some parchment paper. And you'll see over here I just wad it up. That makes it easier for it to stay down in there. That was a great tip I learned not too long ago. I know I keep going over here and getting this out of my sink, but my sink is clean. And everything in here has been washed this morning. We were ready to go. What's wonderful about doing things like this is you have breakfast for a month probably, and you're only dirtying up your kitchen once. Love that. And all of the flavor profiles are similar, so you don't even have to wash this in between, you know, doing these. So I think that's great too. All right. I'm just going to wet my hands. My hands are clean. And I'm just going to push these down into this pan. This is about an 8x8 pan. And we're going to put these in the refrigerator and let them chill. All right. So you can see how that looks. All right. So in the refrigerator this one goes. If we can find a spot for it. Nana's been cooking this week. All right, so the next one, let's get our pan ready. I'll throw that in the floor. Telling y'all what, the devil. He is trying his best, but not today. Not today. All right. We ain't having it, are we? So, what I like about doing it this way is that when this is chilled, you can bring it back out so easy and cut it so easy. It's so good. All right, so there we have our second pan ready to go. The second recipe calls for 8 ounces of pitted dates. That's what I had to go to the store for because this is not something that I keep at my house. As a matter of fact, it was not something that I had ever really eaten very much of. But these are wonderful. And they're supposed to be good for you, so. I'm not a doctor. I don't know. But, and it says to pulse this until the dates form a ball. And then we're going to mix in the other ingredients. So let's get the other ingredients quickly put together. I have a 1/4 cup measuring cup, and I'm going to use this for honey, and so I'm going to spray it. And then we're going to need 1/4 cup of peanut butter. So I have that here. I do. All right, so let me get a longer spoon. There we go. We're going to need 1 cup of oats. And we're going to need 1/4 cup of raisins, and I'm just going to eyeball that. I don't mind if there's a few more in there. Okay, so we needed 1/2 cup of nuts, so we're going to be using pecans because that's what we have. Alright, so we've got the dates in here. I have the honey, the peanut butter, the oats, the raisins, and the pecans. So we are good to go. Now it says to blend this until the dates kind of form a ball. So it's not forming a ball. There we go. Okay, now it's sort of formed a ball in there. And then you're going to mix in the peanut butter and the honey. And we're going to just keep adding things until, yeah, that's doing good right there. Okay, so peanut butter. I'm going to go ahead and put the honey in. going to mix this back. Put the lid back on. Pulse it a few times to get it mixed together. Alright. And then you're going to stir in the remaining ingredients. So we're going to put in the nuts, the oats, the raisins, and just because Nana wants to, a few chocolate chips. Probably 1/4 of a cup. It didn't say not to add chocolate chips. We're going to scrape down the sides. Try to get everything incorporated really well. Okay. And then the same thing, we're just going to put it in a lined 8x8 pan. And sometimes these don't look like they're going to come together, but they will. Get them mashed down in there. Everything will come together. Alright, and just like before, I'm going to wet my hands. And we're going to press this down into this pan. Well, make sure you push out towards the corners so that everything is about the same size. You don't want to cut these and then the corner pieces just be little bite-sized pieces. Although, that might be a good snack. Alright, that looks wonderful. Okay, these are going to have to go outside into the refrigerator in the garage to chill. So we're going to move along with our next recipe, and this happens to be the most simple. This is the one I tried first, and it was so good. That's what made me want to try the rest of these. This is 3 cups of oats, 1 cup of peanut butter, 1/2 cup of honey, chocolate chips, And you're going to chill that for 3 hours. So I'm going to say that I forgot to write down, it was probably about a cup of chocolate chips, but we'll see. All right, so the first thing we need is 3 cups of oats. I'm getting out my bigger measuring cup so I don't have to stand here and do it with a 1/4 cup measuring cup. All right, that's 3 cups. So that's going in. And then it calls for 1 cup of peanut butter. I'm going to have that right here. Now, of course, you could use any kind of nut butter that you wanted to. If you have sensitivities in your family, feel free to swap out sunflower butter or cashew butter. You're going to change the profile of the flavor, but that doesn't mean that it'll be bad. It just means it'll be good. And if you have a sensitivity or a major allergy, we certainly don't want you using peanuts. We're going to need a 1/2 cup of honey. So let me spray my cup here. That helps get the honey out. Seems it might be a little crystallized at the bottom. That doesn't mean it's bad. It just means that it is kind of turning to sugar. Honey doesn't go bad. Did you know that? All right. Spraying that cup makes all the difference in the world. Alright, and we're going to put our peanut butter in there. What else do we need in here? Oh, we need our chocolate chips. One of these bowls is about a cup. So that's what we're going to go for. Alright, so we have our oats, our peanut butter, our honey, and our chocolate chips. Just kind of have to stir this around and get it back down to the bottom. There's a lot of sticky stuff going on in there. Okay, these are not low calorie. You can tell that by what's in them. They are really good as a meal replacement for breakfast, which is what I plan on using them for. And we have a lot of appointments coming up in the next month, 2 months, something like that. And I really want to be able to grab something and get out the door without having to, cook a meal or whatever. So let's pulse this some more and see if we can get it to come together. I think what might have been a better idea, now that I think of it, when I did it before, I put the honey and the peanut butter in here and got that going and whipped it together and then added the other ingredients. Either way, though, it's going to work out. Okay, I think that's looking pretty good. Let's get all this out of our way and get our third pan put together here. My little balls of parchment paper. I like home cooking, but I don't mind taking some help from the store, and like parchment paper and things like that. I do not mind taking the help from the store. Otherwise, you're going to have to be washing all this. So. I liked about doing these 3 recipes together because they all have kind of the same flavor profile, and that really helps when you're using a food processor or a mixer or something like that. This is incredibly sticky. All right. So my hands are wet, and we're just going to push this down into this pan just like we did before. This makes a little thicker bar than the other 2. I'm going to put just a few chocolate chips on the top and kind of push those down. All right, those are going outside in the fridge. See, it looks great, right? All right, so we're going to put these over here. All right, so it's been a couple hours, and we're going to cut the first ones up. This is peanut butter, chocolate, honey, and oatmeal. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them in these little snack bags. Just a little. And then I'm going to put them in one of these. And I'll probably put mine in the freezer, but you can put yours in the refrigerator if that's what you want to do. And I'm going to get about 8 out of this. One of these is, some of them are a little bigger because I didn't measure it. But who's got time for that, right? You can make these bigger or smaller. This is about the size that I'm doing. And as I said, we're going to get about 8 of these. I'm hoping to have enough snack bags. If not, I will wrap them in parchment paper, and that'll be just as good. You see this one is bigger, but that's okay. If you hear something in the background, it's the dryer. I'm always worried about the background noise. You know how it is, you don't pay any attention to it when it's yours, but in a video, sometimes it gets on people's nerves, and I'm sorry if it does. Right. We've got that one done. And now we're going to put it in our bag labeled peanut butter and chocolate. And I don't know which one is or which. I made some of these the other day and I really enjoyed them. I enjoyed having them as a snack, and I enjoyed them as a breakfast. So it was really nice. Right. Okay, these are the ones with the dates. And I'm going to, I have some peanut butter powder in this pan, and I'm going to kind of just roll them around because this one is a little sticky, and I'm thinking it's probably going to stick to my bag, and maybe if I roll it in the peanut butter powder, it won't. These are thin, so I may cut them smaller and double them up. I've lost my towel again. I can't keep up with my towel. All right. These are not wanting to stay together too well. We're going to put them in the bags and kind of form them in the bag like that. All right. So hopefully these will be good. And these may be so rich that you just eat half of it. And who knows? I've never made these before. So a couple of them I'm going to just do single layers, and we'll see how that looks. And the last one, I poured chocolate on top of. I melted some milk chocolate, and I poured that on the top, and we're waiting for that to kind of harden up enough for me to cut them. Pour just a little more peanut butter powder in there. I hope these are good. We'll try a bite of them. One of them here in a minute. See how they taste. I know the first ones are good because I've made those before. We may have to eat these out in the garden because of that peanut butter powder. It's probably going to be messy. But that's all right. We need energy for that garden work, right? I can't wait to get started on that. And baby and my little tomato plants over here. That probably will absorb a little bit of that powder too. I have just a little piece here. I'm going to put just a little bit of this powder on it and give it a taste. Those are really good. I like the texture and I like the taste of the date. I really like those. I'm glad I decided to try the dates. That's not something I've ever really eaten before. Yeah, so we have another bag. Yay. So this is the last one. And this one has raisins and nuts and the chia seeds and all that stuff. And I put some chocolate on the top because it was kind of thin and because I like chocolate. All right, let's get these bagged up. Look how pretty that looks. I know the chocolate's not very nutritious, but everything else in the bar is. So a little bit of chocolate I don't think hurts anybody. And if you'd used dark chocolate, it probably would have been better for you. But I don't like dark chocolate, so I like milk chocolate. And that's the least of the ones that are good for you, you know. So these little baggies come in handy for this. Because I can just grab one of these and get in the car and go if I have an appointment or something. I'm making these smaller because of the chocolate, and I don't think that I'm going to need that much. I think we're going to wind up with enough bags, so that's great. All right, so let's give these a taste. I really do like that. That's good. Has a very nutty flavor. Really good. It's real good with the chocolate. So I hope you enjoyed coming along with me making these bars today. And these are really going to be a big help to me, having something to grab for breakfast. And as I said, these are not low calorie bars, but they are a good meal replacement for me. I'm just saying for me. Now, all of these have peanut butter in them, and all of them have raw honey in them. So if you're making these, do not give them to children under 1 year old. And if you have a peanut allergy, of course you'll need them. Use a different kind of nut butter, something like cashew butter or some of the other stuff that they have out now. So just a little disclaimer there. But Nana loves you. Nana's so proud of you. I hope you'll join me again. I hope you'll like and subscribe and comment and do all the things that help our channel grow. We're growing, guys. Our community here is growing. I'm excited every single time I see a new subscriber and we get a new face in our community, and I just love that. So I'll see you on the next one. And remember, you always have a friend here. Mama loves you.